Kat.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Are you ready?
I need something big from you.
Yeah,
this
let's
week.
go.
I need you to deliver.
Yeah.
Timmy, stat
Stat
deep.
dive.
Fuck yeah, she went solo. Han Solo. I love it.
Even went a bit of a deeper voice there. Really embraced it.
Yeah, if you were on the podcast, that was actually Kat, not me. That was very, very good. I'm impressed. All right. Lehi Hopoate jumping in at fullback to replace the great Tommy Travojevic. I think he's just under 600K, Timbo. Pretty appealing. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's one, the way the Supercoach mind works. When Tommy went down, when I stopped kicking the cat.
Hey.
He's already dead. He's had enough.
Yeah, poor cat.
Take your metal
Don't
studs
kick
off.
cats.
Yeah, that didn't actually cross my mind when that came out. You're lucky you weren't in the room, though. 585K.
Poor old Sprinkles wasn't so lucky.
Snowball, mate. As soon as Turbo got injured, I was like, all right, where's the Supercoach mind go to? Like every injury, and then I got, all right, who benefits out of this in Supercoach? And you go, Lehi Hopoate, who he's going to be a Supercoach gun at some point, if he's not already, to be fair. Went back 5 games at fullback that he's played in the NRL thus far. What do you reckon he averages?
73.
Not actually that good, 57.6, which was less than I expected. That being said, one of them was this year against the Raiders, which was his worst of them, I'm pretty sure. The other 4 last year, essentially like debut season in the NRL. So I expect, mate, that'd be a lot bigger. I expect he'll probably get 4 games there, I think it is, before that bye. As Physio said before, they're not going to bring Turbo back before that bye. That seems madness. So he should get 4 games there. The issue, though, the draw, it's a shame for Lehi. Storm, Sharks, Dragons, Panthers into the bye. So I can't bring myself to do it with that draw. If the draw was softer, I'd really be looking at it, but it's not.
Yeah, the draw is just too much for me. I can't do it personally. Mate, I was just, whenever we're talking about a player, I obviously, I'd find my way over to the your website.
Oh, yeah.
Stick them into the stats. And then I also just have a little ponder on SC stats as well. And shout out to Lehi Hopoate because he does a great Albert Hopoate impression.
I saw that as
the
well.
all-time greats.
I know.
I back that.
I had me refreshing it 5 times. Something's going wrong here.
That's unreal. Very, very good. But yeah, I think that the Melbourne Cronulla Dragons, Penrith, Dragons are the easy game there, and that's going to be tough still, I think. So, yeah, you think Flano's not going to have him up to returning to Manly? So, yeah, I don't think I can do it. But despite what the stats say there, mate, if we get to the end of that and he's average 80, it's not going to blow my socks off.
I think you'll average higher than that.
Higher than 80?
No, the 57.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah, and, I mean, the way Tommy's going, I think I'll own Lehi Hopoate at some point this year. But now is not that time.
Yeah. I'm going to say averages 63 during that period.
61.7.
61. Oh, precision. All right. Now, Briton Nikora. Now, I had him in draft last year and he started very, very slow. And then as soon as he bottomed out, all of you brought him in classic and then he went back to normal Briton Nikora. He's doing the same thing this year, except he is scoring a try every week. If you go and look at the stats, he's scoring a try every week and scoring 60. On the weekend, he didn't score a try. I didn't see what he updated to, but I assume it would have been in the 40s again. He's sort of, I said before, it's like he's shown up to a dress-up party dressed as a Cronulla Sharks back rower because Supercoach-wise, he's not doing what he usually does.
Yeah.
I probably stole all your thunder there and I apologise.
No, it's all right. I've got more stats, so
Good.
we're good. He's just not getting it done.
No.
So 624K, break even of 92. He's already dropped 57K this season. Mate, averaging 57 points, that's 3 tries in 4 games. His base has a base this season of 37 as an 80-minute back rower, which is very ordinary, down on his 45 from last year, which is a pretty significant drop. 4 80-minute games this season, he's had only 29 runs. In his last 2 games, he's had 12 runs.
Wow.
So, he's beginning to bottom out, and depending what happens down in the capital this weekend or on Thursday, he's going to be a great buy at some point. As you said, last year he started slowly and then hit his straps later on. I'm confident he will, but far out. Need to see something first because the work rate is just non-existent.
Can I ask you, mate, do you put the work rate at all down to like Hines being the dominant ball player on that edge and Trindle seems to be taking a bit more. Like, do you put it down to anything like that, or do you think he's just not getting through work?
Well, Hines and Trindle, the way they play, they chop and change every freaking week. 1 week, one of them's dominant 7. The next week, the other one's sliding out the back. Like, I think it was Vegas from memory. Maybe this was a Vegas thing, but from memory, Nico was playing as the 7 and Trindle was sweeping out the back, and now they flipped around and Nico's now sweeping out the back more. I mean, Nikора's on Nico's side, so it shouldn't have impacted it, like his output.
Yeah, it's weird just trying to find reasoning for it.
Yeah, he's a notoriously slow starter. Rando had some stats around slow starters in Supercoach, the Guns, who find their feet a bit later on, and he was one of them. So, yeah, anyway, I said I think it'd be a great buy at some stage, but just need to see the output certainly rise.
I'll tell you what was odd for me as well, just from having Briton Nikora in draft. I think I've had him 2 of the last 3 years. In wet weather footy, he tends to absolutely base the living shit out of himself. And even that didn't come on the weekend.
No.
Like we saw some of these middle forwards just go enormous over the weekend in base stats. He was certainly not one of them, so a little bit alarming. Glue for hands. Bradman best. Talk to me. Got magnets for fingers.
God, he's not helping our boy Greg.
He's not helping Greg the leg.
Bradman best is one rule that we've spoken about in recent years, and we sit there and go, he often has a base of like 40. He's on a good attacking edge at the Knights, or at least they seem to go to left when he plays. And he's only ever averages around that sort of 58 to 60 odd mark, and we wonder why. Anyway, still don't really have an answer, but all I do know is he's firing this year. Back-to-back scores of 109 and 99 has him at 622k with a break-even of -16. In those games, he had a base of 41 and 46. In those 2 games, 38 runs and 28 tackles, plus 13 tackle breaks, 3 offloads. Keeping in mind one of those games, or the game before the bye, the Knights got pumped. The numbers are outstanding, mate. And like I shouldn't say now or never, but a -16 break even. If you like the look of him, he's punching out some serious stats.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Bradman from a Supercoach point of view. I never feel confident doing it. Never. I always feel like there's a hammy or there's something just around the corner. But
yeah,
he's one of those guys that could get away from people very quickly.
He could. Like if the Knights' left edge comes alive a bit, not saying it hasn't because he's been great.
Yeah.
Marshu's had a few stats here and there, but it's been a lot of base. You know, if it comes alive and they start to favour the left and the Knights are playing good footy, he could get away and be like a 75 plus averaging player. But again, for some reason, not looking at it statistically here, it just never seems to happen with Bradman Best.
And you know what? Like, it's not always his fault. Like, sometimes you go, oh, that left edge, they'll start to hum, and then all of a sudden,
they don't.
Don Young and Fletcher Sharp are the top try scorers in the NRL. And you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
That guy thinks he's 23 years old again. It's wild. Not for me, but I can understand people doing it. Gussie Crichton, Guth the Buff. I know you're very, very keen. And I think by the end of the deep dive, you might have me convinced. Take it away.
Yeah, 705k. I was sort of eyeing him or Lehi Hopoate for this week. This was last week. His break-even of 77. He's already dropped 53k this season, averaging 66 points so far in 4 games. No tries, no try assists. Bugger all attacking stats, really. Busted 14 tackles, 10 offloads, 46 in base, which is pretty good. I do think his ceiling is definitely reduced this year. New halves combinations at the Roosters, their aside declining on what we saw last year. He's someone I'm keen on, but with each day that goes on, eye test, he's not looking as good as he did last year, I don't think. The Roosters definitely aren't. I think he's a good buy, but I am swaying towards Lehi Hopoate now, just being in a gun side. Just the Roosters concern me. All that being said, he's starting to bottom out nicely for us and should be on the radar of people.
What was the break-even? 77?
Yeah.
What's Lehi Hopoate at? What's his price at the moment?
They're very similar. So Lehi Hopoate was a little bit more. He's at 731k with a break-even of 71. But like even in that, Lehi Hopoate has 2 tries, I think it is, or like a try and a try assist. 2 tries, and he had that try assist for Pappy on the weekend as well. Heaps more attacking stats. But that's kind of what's going to happen with these two based on their current teams. Like, Lehi Hopoate is going to find attacking stats. Angus Crichton, he'll find some, but with the Roosters and the way they're playing, they'll be hit or miss.
Can I ask you, mate, if you're tossing up between those two, which I will be next week, do you start to at all look at, okay, Lehi Hopoate won't play Origin? Does that start to play a role in your mind yet?
Not quite yet.
Not yet?
Like,
Okay.
to be honest, I probably want them both in the next 3 or so weeks, but it's a good point you make. Like, it's the one for me.
You think you'll have both of them, do you?
Probably. I think they're probably going to be the two best back rowers, depending what Angus Crichton does in the next week or two. And if he passes the eye test, I go, all right, he's back.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm happy to.
Yep.
And then, as I said, Roo, granted, like Angus Crichton, he's a big minute edge back row in Origin, but whilst there'll be a lot of Origin planning around and getting numbers and all that, my big take from last year was that I read too much into Origin. And
yeah, okay.
And I think like it impacted me big time. So I'm not putting as much weight on buy planning across the Origin period as much as I have in recent years.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be honest here, Origin was the least of your worries, but we'll move on. Zach Lomax, my boy. Actually, I'll just let you take it away. What are your thoughts on Zach Lomax?
My thoughts on Zach Lomax are pretty bloody similar to Angus Crichton, to be honest. And that is that, well, not entirely the same, but Zach Lomax, he's doing everything he can for this Eels side at the moment. Get a load of his stats on the weekend against Manly in a well-beaten side in the wet. 18 runs, 12 tackles, 6 tackle busts, 2 offloads. Guess how many he scored?
How many points he scored?
Yeah,
50 on the nose.
Yeah. They're like power and base stats. You don't get too much better than that. And he scored 50.
Yeah, and just from having Zach Lomax in draft last year and watching him very closely, if it wasn't wet weather on the weekend, I reckon he would have had another 4 offloads in that game.
Yeah.
There was a heap of opportunities. He just went, this isn't the right play.
My point is, though, and like potentially you're leaning it, and I know you love him, buy soon. I just can't go near him in this current Eels team because he's just not getting the attacking opportunities, and I can't see that changing potentially until Mitch Moses comes back. Moses coming back will change a few things, but Moses will also be in the Origin frame, as will Zach Lomax for that matter. But I just look at someone like Lomax and go, all right, he's doing everything he can, but I want a bloke with a bit of base and power in a side that scores tries. And to add into that, in the 4 games so far this season, he's had 20 points in conversions, 6 goals, 2 misses. Like, goal kicking is a big factor in it. He's just not getting those opportunities because the Parramatta Eels have to score tries.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve my judgment on that for another week or two. I think that whilst Parramatta look like a tyre fire, they have got better each and every week. I think bringing Riley Smith into this side, I think Dill Walker will bring a lot of energy to them as well. I'm not expecting them to turn into world beaters, but I do think, mate, they're getting to the point where we just need to move the football around and try things here.
I don't know. Just look, and the reason for that is all good and well, but you can go side to side, but if you're not winning the middle, you're not going to achieve anything. Like, we say that all the time. So until they start winning the middle, I don't think it's going to change anything. Yeah, they don't even have to win the middle. They just need to not get bashed through the middle.
And I sort of thought they did compete through the middle to some extent over the weekend.
They were better.
That's what I'm saying. They are getting better. I don't think they're improving out of sight. I think they'll still be a bottom 4, bottom 6 side. But yeah, I'm going to reserve my judgment on Lomax. Like there was a pass that he tried to get quick hands on the weekend that floated forward, which was a forward pass. But if that goes through, all of a sudden you go, no, okay, 70 points. Like he's averaging 70.
And as I said, every chance he will be by at some point. Yeah, I just he's punching out those numbers for 50. I'm like, he's trying to carry the Eels and doing everything he can. Like, at what point does it burst a little bit and he just, like, he's gassed out, whatever it might be. And, I need to see something more and certainly probably Mitch Moses back. My devil's advocate for him, if you have a look at his average at 66, that's incredible. Those 2 games in the middle were the games I believe he was jumping back into the wing spot to return kicks. Getting those runs up. That's where he got those extra base stats from, and he just had a few more opportunities in those situations. One of them he returned a kick and chipped over the top and regathered. He got 10. Like he just those 2 middle games where he scored 79, 89 without a try. I think a lot of that was because he was returning kicks. And so just something to be aware of. And Zach Lomax, more than most players in Supercoach, you could make the argument for any player, but more runs means offloads and tackle busts. Yes. So I think once Moses returns, mate, and I don't know how much I think it'll improve Parramatta. I don't think it'll turn their season, but I just think Lomax will then get good ball how he wants it. And that's when hopefully
he gets a little bit. I'm actually kind of filthy that during this period he's still averaging 66 fucking.
I know.
But by the time that time arrives, Origin's going to be around the corner, and so yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Okay, our next player, our last. Ooh, this is a first. We've got a team in here. I like this. Talk to me about the Canterbury Bulldogs.
Doggies are a funny one. Let me just get them up. So I was just going through them today, and I'm like, all right, who are going to be the relevant players? Jacob Preston, he had a hummer on the weekend, killed at 122 points, averaging 71 for the season off the back of it. I'm like, they're undefeated. Oh, maybe it's just largely off the back of their defence. I'm like, nah, they've got the third or fourth best attack in the NRL this season. So I'm like, points aren't an issue. But they're just not very Supercoach relevant. So I went through a bit deeper into it. I was like, where are their freaking Supercoach points coming from then? So William Kikau's injured. He was going all right. But Jacob Preston, he's their highest ranked Supercoach player based on averages. Where do you reckon he rates on highest averages this year in the NRL Supercoach?
22.
He's 32nd overall.
Oh, shit.
As I said, Kikau's a bit higher, but a few games. That's Preston after scoring 122.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So the team coming first.
Jeez, I thought 22 was going to be generous.
Yeah. Team coming first, unbeaten, and their top player, Preston, 32nd overall. Their second best, Connor Tracy. He's in 40th with an average of 67. Their third highest averaging player is Brodson Sherry in 64th with an average of 63.5. So I suppose I wanted to ask you, like, what do you put this down to?
After finding those stats out 8 seconds ago, I don't quite know if I'm completely honest with you. But I think it does just once again point to what we speak about with Canterbury, mate, that they, it's that old best 13 will always beat the 13 best. That old saying in rugby league. And I think that's what Canterbury are at the moment. Like, they all just play a role. They all just do a job. No one's a superstar. Someone has to get man of the match every week, but they all just chip in and do their bit. Not a bad answer from you with 8 seconds notice. Thanks very much. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, I don't know if we achieved anything, but I achieved nothing whatsoever. It sounded good, so take it. But you even have a look at guys coming off the bench. Like Harry Hayes comes on and scores 50 Supercoach points. You're like, yeah, the fuck? Well, it's just well rounded. Everyone does their bit. I'm looking at my draft waiver wire this week, and you got Salmon and Kurt Mann there who are both scoring well every week. Yeah, I don't know who's going to play more minutes each week. That's just who they are. And I mean, of course, Matty Burton's injured. He'll come back in. He's one of their better ones. Jacob Kiraz, we know he's a gun, but I mean, he hasn't played a game all season, so these points had to go somewhere. Yeah. But Kiraz is on the extended bench this week, so he'll be a close watch ahead of the bye in a week or two. So, yeah, just one that I noted, and I go to write the analysis on each team every Tuesday, and I get to the Dogs every week. I'm like, they can't be beaten, but I still don't want to buy anyone. Yeah. And I mean, I had a mate in one of our group chats the other day that sort of said, I think I'm going to go Bailey Hayward. And I sort of went, what the fuck are you doing? He's gone 67, 61. Burton's due back soon. They have got that bye, which I hate about it. But even he's just jumped into the 5'8" role and averaged 64 across 2 weeks. Probably what Burton would have averaged. Well, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy.